This video segment will cover locations and cyber stalking. Today you will learn geotagging and geofencing and how those technologies work. You will learn about the impacts of geotagging on your privacy and your personal safety. You will learn how and when to activate and deactivate location services on your devices. You will learn what to do if you post accidentally with your location settings on, say from home or your workplace. You'll learn how to keep photos and videos secure online and why we should avoid using check-in features or broadcasting our future plans for a particular evening or weekend. Geotagging is the act of posting on social media, publicly posting on social media, with GPS coordinates embedded. The GPS coordinates are in fact the longitude and latitude of where the post was shared, which is the exact location from where it was posted. Geofencing is a search of public social posts by geographic location. So for example, defining an area the size of, let's say, the city of Belleville. Usernames and keywords can also be searched within the geography defined. So if you search Belleville, you can further refine searches by usernames, keywords, even images. Geotagging and geofencing have impacts on our online privacy and safety, and later you will learn how and why. On the upcoming example of geotagged social media posts, you will be shown a map, and on that map, you will notice that you can identify the precise location of where they were posted from. These tools can track many platforms. Some platforms include, but are not limited to, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even foreign social platforms like VK, which is similar to Facebook but in Russia, Vimeo, Flickr, Foursquare, and more. These tools typically pull up to 3,000 posts for any given search, depending on the size of the geofence that's defined, as well as the population density in the area. Usernames, keywords, hashtags, etc. are all trackable within these locations, and even reverse image searches. The scenario coming up will show how a predator can construct a geofence to conduct a search of social media posts within a small defined location. Now the search itself. Predators would begin in this context by casting a wide net, for example, searching an entire region or community. So that could be the Quinte region, it could be the city of Belleville. And then they begin to refine the search by focusing on posts or users that attract what we call the wrong kind of attention. For example, provocative posts, images, or videos, too personal in nature, maybe sharing too much personal information they could use to find the location of the user, or certainly people posting anything revealing vulnerabilities, sad, wanting to run away, not being understood. Any of those things attract the wrong kind of attention. Once a user has attracted that wrong kind of attention, the predator can begin to read their posts, visit their full social media profiles, and conduct Google searches to learn more about the user, all in an effort to learn about them and, in many cases, identify their location or track them down. Predators will constantly refine their search and gradually narrow the search area to hone in on a user, their groups of friends, and even their family members. They'll learn locations of houses, friends' houses, schools, sports fields where they play recreational sports, etc. So in this example mentioned earlier, you can see this is a broad grid search of the Quinte region. And you can see a lot of posts going on here, quite a great many. So at this stage here, the predator would define a geofence, and they begin to click on those posts, simply searching for somebody that, as we mentioned, gets the wrong kind of attention by posting or sharing things that maybe they should not. Once they start to get a user starts to get on a predator's radar, they will begin to further refine their search, such as this. So by looking through here, finding a user, I can find a user that tends to post a lot from within a much smaller area. This is a fictional example, but this depicts the downtown core of Trenton. Going from here, we can move on to identify friends' houses, the school, even where buses are caught, where phones are checked, restaurants they would go to at their lunch hour, and their favorite after-school hangout at their friend's place. So now, if you just take a moment and process what we're looking at, This particular predator would know the location of two friends' houses, including the one after school where they go pretty much the same time every day. They would know where the bus is caught, where they hang out, checking their phones, their restaurant, and importantly, they would know where that user would be at certain times. For example, between 3:50 and 4:10, almost every day they would be walking, or she'd be walking through this area here. So this is obviously the kind of attention we want to avoid. From there, they can track posts even to houses. So this is an example that shows one of the posts from where we started with the big search, narrowed down to a neighborhood in Trenton, narrowed down to a school, a few hangouts, and now their house. This is a different tool that does much the same. You can see in this example here, you can see clusters of tweets of my own from places I fish or I go on hikes. The area maybe where I live. We could see where I volunteer and do work with the Children's Safety Village in Belleville. And in this case, this is a post from Loyalist College from the Quinte Regional Science Fair. And if I copy and paste that link here, you can see the full post as such. Now from this point, I can see obviously a username. I can see a photo here. This is my headshot. And I can see my banner photo. Going down here, I can see a fair bit about my interests. I can see internet safety consulting. I can see my Instagram and Snapchat and adjacent social accounts all here. So what's in that? Is that a lot? We're about to find out. Beginning with the reverse image search, I'm able to take that headshot and find all sorts of places where it appears online. This particular group shows times it would appear on my Twitter account. The same is true for Facebook and other social platforms, as well as any websites or media that might have used the photo. And this is a good reminder of those privacy settings because one of the options in most social platforms is to prevent Google from searching them. And had I done that, you wouldn't see any of this. You wouldn't see any of this here. Now, reverse image search. So I can see from my banner ad that that picture comes up right here as part of an article at the Belleville Intelligencer about internet safety at the Belleville Children's Safety Village. And if I open that, there you go, I can see that. Reading through that article, and I'm able to now take my name and some of my interests, in this case internet safety, and I can see all sorts of news media articles that covered me, past speaking engagements such as one here I did at VP Carswell Public School, and on and on. At this point, I think we'd all agree that this is a lot of information for a complete stranger, especially one that is potentially dangerous, to know about me. Most of us use Snapchat. This actually depicts the Snap map. And as most of us know, we can click up here and enter the settings and simply put ourselves in ghost mode, and we can avoid showing up on this altogether. That's certainly a highly recommended practice. Many of us don't know is that photos or videos that we capture, even if never shared online, can be geotagged and therefore tracked. So these are all photos from my phone, never been online, never shared, never texted or emailed, saved from my phone to my computer, and that is it, through a wire, not even through an online format. But you can see the locations, and if I click on these icons, you can see the actual photos. So not only where they were taken, but what they are. And here's how that works. Here's a picture of me with my son at the Star Wars movie just before Christmas. And you can look over here. You can see all sorts of information embedded in that picture. It's called metadata. Everything including the type of camera, the angle, the time and date stamp, and importantly down here, GPS position. That's my longitude and latitude, or my precise location of where that photo was taken. And if I take that data, I convert it to decimal format and put it in this map tool, and I hit go, you can see that this is in fact the Trenton Center Theater, and that is where that photo was taken. So we can see there are a lot of ways for people to find our locations. Taking it one step further, using simple free Google Street View, we can see, remember that school from a few slides ago, this is the area where the phones would be checked. This is where the buses would be caught. And a bad guy, a predator, would tell you they're looking for areas where there's not much lighting, where there's things they could maybe hide behind, or otherwise just to get an idea of the layout of the area so that they can plan to be there to intercept a young person. For example, in this case, perhaps on her walk from school to her friend's place after school. Going a little further, this is the one house that was identified. I can see that there's an open house posting. And going back to old cached or stored real estate sales websites, I can go now and view photos of the inside or the interior of the home. This would be the entranceway, the kitchen. I can see the granite countertops, the stainless steel appliances, the nice new lighting. Now I know I know where your community is, what it looks like. I know where your school is, what the outside looks like. I know your neighborhood, even the inside of your home. So first step, that should be pretty creepy, but the good news is it's pretty simple to stay safe and prevent that. So simply by turning off location services on whichever device we use, you will not even show up on that map. You can't be tracked that way. And it's very simple. Every device is different, so I can't take you through each. But simple Google search location services, iPhone 8, for example. And right off the bat, you see step 1, 2, 3, and there's even a spot you can go and see screenshots. So no matter what your device is, a simple Google with location, you'll learn how to turn them off pretty quick. Now, check-in features. I know these are very popular. These are basically when we arrive at an event or a location, we check in. People see that Matt Richardson checked into the Quincy Mall. So these are a popular feature. But when we use that feature, we're basically telling the whole world and showing them where we will be and when at an exact moment in time. And this is obviously risky for any strangers or people we don't know well to know our location in real time. In my opinion, it is best to avoid using these features. But if you do, consider avoiding the feature from using the feature from any places where you visit often, because this can reveal things about your travel patterns and routines that we don't want disclosed. And if we're going to use the check-in feature, only do so from public locations that are busy, they're well lit, there's lots of people around, preferably those that have a security presence as well. So an example might be a public event at the Quincy Mall, lots of people, there's mall security, there's ample lighting. That's a better option than, say, posting or checking in from a secluded bike trail. And that takes us to my next example. This is a real post or an excerpt from someone that broadcasted where they're going to be. Now, this is a remote bike trail with not a lot of lighting. It's a nice place and bike rides are great. But it is not a great idea to tell strangers, to tell everybody that we are going to be on this bike trail alone, biking, walking, hiking, etc. at any point. Posting about our future plans online puts anyone at risk that does it. We can't avoid it. My opinion is we should always avoid posting where we will be in advance. And I know some people like to announce or broadcast where they're going to be to raise support for an event like a charity fundraiser, for example. And what I've coached them or advised in the past is rather than saying you're looking forward to being at that event, post a message about it. Hey, everybody, I hope you can get out and support this fundraiser tonight, and post after or in the past tense. I had a great time at the fundraiser tonight. This is a far safer way to go, and you still get to raise support and show the world that in fact you did attend it. So everybody wins that way. An alternative, if you post about plans, I would always, again, just a reminder to take care to avoid revealing any travel patterns. So example, any places or events that we visit on a regular basis. This is an example of what can happen if we don't follow my advice. This young woman here, for all the right reasons, embarked on an amazing journey where she was rowing around Lake Michigan to raise money for breast cancer. And as a part of her journey, she would frequently blog, post on social media, like open and publicly, as well as use check-ins. She even allowed people to see her location in real time. And this was an effort of hers to get people to follow along and help, raise awareness and support for the fundraiser and the cause. Unfortunately, what happened was a predator used the information to find her and attack her. And in her words was that he told her he knew who she was and he knew exactly how to find her and where she would be. And the police have said as much. So this is an example of a scenario where she could have avoided this trouble by following the advice I've already laid out for you today. Now we'll wrap up with some safety tips. These are practical, these are fair requests. Anytime we post on social media, let's shut off our location services, especially if from our school, our house, our workplace. Let's make sure they're off. And good news, if you post with them on and you realize you did that by mistake, you can delete the post, turn them off, and repost. And it comes off of that map very quickly. Take advantage of your privacy settings. We saw what can happen when I start to click through profiles earlier. Privacy settings are your friend. They allow you to share the information you want, but you keep control, and you can control who can see what you post. Never share images or videos with people we don't know well or only from the internet. So it's a bit creepy. We can see pictures and videos can be geotagged, but none of that matters if we don't share them with people we don't know. So we shouldn't text or email or through an app or any case directly share pictures and videos with people that are unknown to us. Simply by doing that, using some common sense, we are safe from that whole part of it. Further, if we shut the location services when we take the pictures of the videos, the GPS coordinates do not get embedded, so you're still offline. Avoid using those check-in features. In my opinion, it's best just not to use them, but if you insist on using them, again, avoid revealing travel patterns, do not check into places you regularly frequent, and only check into safe and secure locations with ample lighting, lots of people around, preferably some type of security presence. Avoid at all times broadcasting your future plans. We just saw a powerful example. It's a cautionary tale of what can happen. Never broadcast your future plans. An alternative is to post in the past tense. For example, rather than saying, I'm looking forward to having a great time tonight at this fundraiser, we could say, had a great time at this fundraiser. And it was great to see everyone out to support it. Or, instead of saying, can't wait to celebrate graduation at Montana's tonight, we could say, had a great time celebrating graduation at Montana's. Those slight differences go a long way to keeping you safe and secure while you enjoy the internet. Thank you, and that will conclude this video.